Do you also want to save a lot on energy cost? Then you should definitely turn on these 5 things on your heater so you can save gas significantly. If you are unsure about any settings, you should consult a heating engineer. Check the hot water temperature in your heater and if possible turn it down a bit. You should never set it below 55 degrees Celsius, otherwise there is a risk of Legionella growth. However, if your heating is still set significantly too high, you can set it to 55 degrees Celsius and thus already save some energy. The second trick involves the heating pipes. You'll find them everywhere in your boiler room and you should insulate them if possible. Otherwise, heat will constantly escape and you will have a high energy loss in the basement, where you don't really need it. It is best to touch all the heating pipes once. All heating pipes that are hot or warm should be insulated. The thicker the better. Also make sure that you have insulated everything really well at certain interfaces or also at the corners. It should be really completely closed off so that the heat can't escape anywhere, because you can save a lot of energy cost this way. Most heating systems have such a circulation pump. This ensures that there is always hot water in the pipes. This means that when you turn on the faucet, warm water comes right out. This means that the water from the pipe is always replaced by fresh hot water. And here you can install a timer perfectly. For example, you can set it so that it doesn't run at night, because you don't always need hot water from the tap at night. After all, you don't use water while you sleep. You can also set certain times during the day when this pump should not run. This can also reduce your energy costs. For example, when you are at work, you don't need hot water in the pipes all the time. It is best to use a digital timer so that you can also set the individual days variably. In addition, you can set the timers on your heater, for example for heating or hot water. Of course, this is different for each heating system, therefore be sure to check your manual to see exactly how the whole thing works for you, or ask a heating installer if you're unsure. Here you can set when the heating and hot water should run normally and when it should turn off. For example, at night you do not necessarily need hot water, so you can safely turn it off then. Depending on when you get up in the morning, you then switch on when it should turn on again. With many heaters such as mine, you can set this for each day of the week. Of course, it is important that you have set the correct time on the heater so that the whole thing works at the right times. But be sure to check your manual before you adjust anything. In addition, you should never turn up the thermostat on your heater completely, because this will not make the heater warm up faster. The number on your thermostat indicates how warm you want it. For example, if you set it to 5, you are saying you want it to be 28 degrees Celsius. The heater would then not turn off until it reached 28 degrees Celsius. Between level 3 and 4 means you want it to be 20 to 24 degrees Celsius, which is easily enough. Therefore, never set your heating thermostat higher because you don't want it to run permanently, since 28 degrees Celsius can of course almost never be reached, and hardly anyone wants to have 28 degrees Celsius at home, which only costs energy unnecessarily. Even better, of course, it's such a digital heating thermostat, because here you can set exactly the temperature at which the heating should turn off again. In addition, you should clean your radiators regularly so that you have here also the full heating power. I'll link you a video here about how this works. So if you currently also want to save significantly on energy, then stick to these tips and try to set them at your place. You would make me really happy if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel.